The Warriors, a movie about a gang that had to make it from Pelham Bay Park to Coney Island in one night after being framed for murder in front of thousands of gang members. A cult classic movie released in 1979 that cost $4 million to make. A movie that was linked to sporadic outbreaks of vandalism and 3 killings. A movie that made gangs look fucking cool. This is why The Warriors is the best movie ever. The Warriors starts off sometime in the future with Cleon, the Warriors' war chief, upholding the truce of not bringing any weapons and only 9 of their best boys. Then a badass montage of a bunch of gang members all walking the streets and subways towards the park starts. In between these shots, the best conversations ever had between 2 characters are heard, and they all involve Ajax.
One thing we might get out of Cyrus's little get-together is meeting some strange wolf. I wouldn't mind laying a little something down on the way back.
You got a one-track brain, you know that?
What's the matter? You going faggot?
When you're president of the biggest gang in the city, you don't have to take any shit.
Fuck him. Maybe we'll get to waste a few heads along the way.
You just soldier and keep your mouth shut.
So they all get to the park, and we see some stereotypical gang members in stereotypical gangs, like these Cubans in hats and some mimes. This Asian guy. Meanwhile, the police roll up in their super secret silent mobiles, ready to ambush the gang members who are all conveniently in one place at one time. So Cyrus gets on this wooden platform, says some shit about how all gangs should work together, and everybody loves it, and then he's like, "Can you dig it?" And everybody's into it, and oh god, he's dead. Yep, okay. And then the cops turn on some lights and everybody scrambles. So for some reason, Cleon goes to look at Cyrus's body. Luther, the war chief of the Rogues, he pins the shooting on the Warriors.
That's the Warrior! He shot Cyrus!
Everyone's like, yeah, okay, alright, you're right, you're right, dude, you're right. And in like 10 seconds, they give Cleon the elbows of death. So then the Warriors group up in a cemetery and decide Swan is the new war chief, and then Ajax is pretty pissed about it.
I got as much right to take over as you.
It was Cleon's choice, Swan's war chief.
Oh, right about now, Cleon's most likely got a nightstick shoved halfway up his ass.
A hit is put on them, and then finally the movie actually begins. But okay, listen to me. So we know there are a bunch of gangs who don't like each other because they are in gangs, and they were about to work together for a better gang future. But all that is gone before Cyrus's body even touches the ground, and a very complex issue is nixed all in 1 second. So the movie is no longer about the promising future. You know, gangs hanging out, helping each other, being cool, doing stuff together. The Warriors' tale is now about one night of survival to get back home. It's simple storytelling, executed to perfection. We as an audience understand the simple goal of these characters we're about to embark on a journey with. We know they just want to make it back alive. So we catch up with the Warriors who figure out the truce is gone and they're going to have to bop their way back home.
It's the Turnbull ACs. Faith forgot about the truce.
No shit.
So the Turnbull ACs, they're these crazy dudes who cannot afford a second bus because they have to work on their current bus because it only hits the top speed of like 5 miles per hour. So the Warriors, like, they run away from the bus and they get to the subway, but then their subway is stopped because there's a fire.
Shit, this train's had it.
So we get a good look at Luther and his gang of hooligans as they eat candy and they talk about how they have to kill the Warriors.
What about the money you owe?
What? Luther's kind of a bad guy. The Warriors end up in a shitty neighborhood run by some low-class outfit called the Orphans, who show their heavy hitters in the way of newspaper clippings. They end up meeting this chick named Marcy with the most perfect chicken impression known to man and this inability to purchase a bra. So the Warriors run away, throw a Molotov, Mercy follows, and they leave on the next subway and the police stop them. This leads to the Warriors splitting up and meeting one of the most amazing gangs in the entire movie, the Baseball Furies. Now, let's talk about how badass these guys are. The Furies are a gang with makeup inspired by the hottest band in the world, Kiss. They don't speak, they don't sweat, they don't run out of stamina. So they're so intimidating that producer Lawrence Gordon made the decision of adding music to the scenes they're involved in because otherwise, their presence and following fight scene were too realistic and graphic. This chase leads up to one of the best lines of the entire movie.
I'll shove that bat up your ass and turn you into a popsicle. Come on.
And man, I still do that when I pick up a bat. So the Warriors win, take some bats, and continue walking. So they're walking, they pass a lady, and Ajax is like, yo, I'm gonna go do her. That's the right thing to do, because I'm Ajax.
Maybe all of you just go and bag it.
He sits down, he talks with her, then he kind of tries to rape her. And then, unfortunately for Ajax, she's a cop, and she's got a cop whistle. The squad pulls up, the homies get out, they beat up Ajax, and holy shit, look at that chin. So then the other half of the Warriors meet up with these chicks called the Lizzies. And then some of the members try and get it in, some of the Lizzies are into it, and then somebody pulls out a gun, and then people shoot, and the Warriors escape, but not without a few bumps and bruises. So while that's taking place, Swan and Marcy are walking on the subway. And Swan starts questioning Marcy about her lifestyle.
I don't like the way you live.
The way I live?
Yeah. I keep hoping I'm gonna run into something a little better.
This scene, this dynamic with Swan and Mercy, it's beautiful. Mercy lays it down super heavy. She's talking about getting doped up and whoring herself out, and that's just her way of life. It's an alternative to being stuck in a cockroach-infested house with absolutely no future. You end up kind of feeling for this woman. You realize she has no other choice in life because she's never had another opportunity. And what could be a throwaway romance in a dumb movie ends up being amazing because of the enhanced backstory given to Mercy.
I don't think you can remember who you get on Friday and Saturday night. I don't think you can remember what they look like.
Sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. Who gives a damn? I see what's happening next door and down the block. Belly hanging down, 5 kids, cockroaches in the cupboard. I'll tell you what I want. I want something now. This is the life I got left. You know what I mean?
You realize she's just not some girl in distress. She's a really troubled woman, and she's lost her ambition. Uses sex to get what she needs, to survive, to just feel something. So then finally the Warriors get to the Union Square, they meet up, and Mercy follows. And then there are these guys, they're dubbed the Punks. And they've been following Swan for a little bit. Mercy comes up to Swan and is like, yo, they're following you. And Swan's like,
I know they're on my ass, but now they know I know it.
here's the thing, man, you don't want to mess with the Punks. You don't want to mess with their war chief, Ed. That motherfucker is on skates, dude. So then the coolest fight scene in the movie happens, and it's like bang, boom, there's kicks, punches, throws, more punches, bites, smashes, and then it's over. They get to the subway, they're close to home, and the Warriors take this moment to reflect. And then the absolute best scene happens. So everything we've seen so far about the Warriors, how they're getting beat up, arrested, killed, and all just to get back home. And it's only been a few hours into the night, we've seen the desperation, the fights, the running. And then in come these two couples from prom. They sit opposite of Swan and Mercy. And here you can clearly see the distinction of two very different lives. Mercy is most affected by this. This is the kind of life she's envisioned for herself. She goes as far as to try and adjust her hair. Swan puts her hand down. It's like Swan is saying, you don't need to make yourself better for other people. You need to make yourself better for yourself. The prom couple lock eyes. They understand. And they know they're on the wrong train. With no words, no music, only the sound of the subway tracks rolling by. We get one of the most deep and important pieces of cultural understanding that a movie can give you. Mercy closes her eyes, and the life she's always wanted, the life she can never have, is gone. The Warriors make it back to Coney, but one more obstacle stands in their way of home. Luther provides an improvised scene, and in turn, the most famous scene in The Warriors.
Warriors, come out to play.
They meet on the beach. Luther explains why he killed Cyrus.
No reason. I just like doing things like that.
And then they have this kind of weird sexual exchange.
Let's do it. Me and you.
One-on-one? You're crazy.
I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal.
Swan brings a knife to a gunfight, beats Luther, and like 100 black men in black clothing, they just kind of sneak up on the beach. And then they surround Luther, and they probably elbow him to death. The Warriors walk towards the sunrise as they make it home. That's why The Warriors is like the best movie ever, man. We have action, we have drama, we have complex characters, we have all these other lives that are intertwining between them and the Warriors. The cops are there, other gangs, their mentalities, the prom couple, Mercy and her style of living. There is so much going on in The Warriors that you really have to take it in multiple times to really realize what is happening. This movie is very concise, very in-depth for what it is. Everyone's a strong character, everyone has motivations, however shitty they may be. And that's why The Warriors is the best movie ever.